So we got the LS engine that I'm not going to be doing anything with right away until I find an S10. So I ordered up this engine stand. This is just for LS's. It's meant to take the whole entire block assembled, apparently, is what it looks like. And it's on wheels, so we're going to assemble this thing so we can set that LS on it. We can wheel it around anywhere we need to so it's not in our way. So here is the kit unboxed. There's nothing to it really, and you know, I'm not bashing Summon on this. I'm just saying that this is typical China products that we've all come accustomed to. You know, it's built just heavy enough to do what it needs to do, and the quality is, you know, just what you'd expect. It's, you know, it's hard to bash this when you understand that poor little Poon Duck Tao in China is getting paid 50 cents a day to weld this stuff together, you know. But regardless, we need it, so we bought it. Now we're going to put it together. So the first thing I'm going to do is I put never sees on all these wheels because they thread up into the ends of these brackets, and when them fail, I don't want to have to fight to get them off because there's no hex on there. So I put never sees on there. Next thing is, this is the bolt they give you for this front cross tie. This goes from one to the other, and these are the holes they're supposed to go in. So I'm trading them out for actual 5/16 bolts that fit the hole like it's supposed to, flat washers, and nylocks. Not a lot to it, pretty simple, self-explanatory assembly, but it is what it is. The bolts are a little bit long, but at least they fit the hole. I'm using nylocks on here as well, instead of a lock washer and a regular nut. But I'm doing that because I don't want it to come loose as it's rolling around. Not a whole lot to the assembly, I guess. I think by putting the larger diameter bolts in here, it'll keep it from racking as much. I don't have as much room to move, I guess. Nice thing about a nylock, you don't have to crush the bolt to get the nut to stay. You don't have to crush the material. You can get it tight as you want it, and then it'll stay. Yeah, I can see why they chose the smaller diameter bolts. What's together? You know, the purpose of buying this is for convenience and not taking the time to build your own. The problem is, for a guy like me who likes things a certain way, this stuff never, ever ends up being what I want it to be. You know, I mean, I don't know if you can tell on camera how crooked that one is. See how straight that one is? Well, it's not even straight either, but this one's leaning in. I guarantee you when I go to put this together, I will have to loosen them bolts because look at that stuff falling out of it. This is kind of straight. This one is nowhere near straight, and it's not sitting right on the front. Up here, you see how the angle iron is welded on crooked. This side is not, it's straight. None of it fits right. And then they give you these welded nuts on here to hold these bolts. Well, the problem is, you know, they weld them on and the nuts get filled full of dirt and crap, and they paint it, and you go to put the bolt in, and even if you can, oh, there it goes. If you can get it to start, you can't get it to go in far enough. You're going to lose the nuts or lose the bolts. So then if you run them in with, so you can't clean the threads out real good because they're real shallow and there's no hole under it. Whatever. I'm just going to have to forget it, put it on the engine, be done with it, move on. So if you're going to buy one of these and put it on there, make sure you leave one side of this loose here, so you can get everything lined up, because it is way off. And when I tighten it back up, it's, I don't know if you can tell this, but they're welded crooked, even though my motor's sitting level. Yeah, it really needs another bar back here too. I didn't last long. We got it all bolted up here, set it on the concrete, went to go move it, and this wheel snapped off. You can see how poor those welds were done. And you know, I gotta tell you, if man, that didn't even penetrate it. That's horrible. Look at that. I gotta tell you, if I thought I could improve this and it be okay, then I would just repair it and move on. But I'm just not happy with it. It's crappy made. A lot of the welds are just awful, and I just feel like this is gonna be problem after problem after problem. So I'm just gonna return it. I'm gonna get rid of it, and instead of doing this, I'm just gonna get another engine stand, and I'll just bolt this engine to the stand and let it sit. And I'll cut a piece of lumber to be a prop between the oil pan and that, so it's not hanging so low forever. But you know, this is the problem with this kind of stuff. It's just not, it's not quality. So the engine's back outside covered up. I took that other cradle back apart, put it in a box, returned it to Summit Racing. And while I was there, I looked in their catalog, and they actually had one of these in there, and it was made by Sunex. This is the same thing here. This one actually came from Hobo Freight, but Summit had one from Sunex that was the same exact thing as this one. I went to Hobo Freight and got this one. Swapped out one China import for another, I guess, but this has got to be better. It says this is good for 2,000 pounds, so we'll see. I got to tell you, this is by far the most impressed I have been with anything this inexpensive. Look at the bearing on that. That's where the head goes in. It's funny how I had an engine stand in storage for years and never needed it. And then today I have one too, and that wasn't enough. I had to go get another one. It's funny how things come around. Hopefully I won't need them a whole lot. I do like this, however. This is it's pretty HD for what it is. Not bad at all. I really like that. I like that you're gonna be able to get a drain pan underneath it too while you're working on it. That'd be really nice. Alright, so we got the full dressed engine on this stand. Now that I've got everything tight, I can take my straps off and see just how well it holds. He's worried about hitting his cab. He's always so afraid to move that machine. Alright, so here we are on here. This thing didn't flex at all, and it's holding it well. It's still the same, about the same incline, but this is what I was talking about with this pin and how it's just too big, because watch what happens here. That little difference in that pin leaves so much room for that to move. That's the last thing you want, is something with a high center of gravity moving quickly, because then it could topple over. I mean, these legs are spread out nice and wide, and I really like that. But I'm probably still going to run a board across the front here and up to the oil pan to help support it, because we know it's going to be a little while before we actually do anything with this, because we have other things that we have to take care of. And I know I've been missing a lot lately in videos, but I'm trying to catch up on some maintenance stuff, getting some of our daily driver stuff taken care of that people aren't really interested in. Like, just like today, I needed to get this on because my daughter's here with her car, and I got to put struts and wheel bearings and fuel filter and tire pressure sensor valves inside the tires, and change of oil and all that kind of stuff. And I'm gonna have a couple days in that because I need to drive the car and look it over and make sure it's okay, because she lives about an hour away. But anyways, this thing holds like well. It's not flexing. I'm gonna tell you, I'm not upset with that. I want to get these exhaust manifolds off so it's not as wide back here, because we don't need them. Whatever we put this in will not be these exhaust manifolds. So I'm gonna go ahead and get the spark plugs off, get the spark plug wires off, get the spark plugs themselves out. And being so we're gonna park it for a while, I'm gonna go ahead and put some WD-40 in the holes, because this won't be running for a little while. And then that way, hopefully when we go to use it, you know, it hasn't got any condensation in it. We'll put WD-40 in there, and then I'll stuff the exhaust holes with blue towels, and I'll cover the intake up with a glove again, like I did here. Or actually, I'll put a Ziploc bag since we're inside now, and we'll put a zip tie over it, or hose clamp, something. Let's get these out. Rusted together on the manifold here. Looks like we got a gap there. If nothing else, we beat the rust out from between the head and the manifold. Yeah, there we go. I'm gonna break them spark plugs off. It? Yep, one broken one up in the front.
Broken one what? Oh, good. I thought you meant a spark plug. Let's see, I don't know.
It was broke a long time ago. So, I'm going to try and get that out. What I do, a little shock therapy here. See what it looks like. The spark plugs. NGK. So she was running a little rich, huh? All the way through. Rich or incomplete combustion, and being as though it was sitting for a couple years, I could see bad gas looking, making the spark plugs a little off, but this is a rich condition here, I think. Yeah, when you got them all like that. We'll see if the other side's the same after we get these off. Black car with black interior. Yeah, it's coming out. We'll get it now. It just sucks, I can't see it. I used to be able to see it, but something happened.
Well,
my glasses.
Well, they broke. I mean, I cleaned them and then they broke. I can't help it.
Some vigorous cleaning.
No, I had already had them cleaned. Well, I mean, they came from Home Depot. It's not like they're... Great glasses.
Maybe Milwaukee should make glasses.
They should. Actually, I mean, even the expensive ones break easy too. So.
Alright, I'll get this rest of it out. It's coming. I started with the harder side, I guess.
Well, that's
These all look
okay.
pretty decent.
Don't say that.
That one's not gonna go. That one's not even tight. It's been replaced. How short that sucker is. There's the other ones. Yeah, that wasn't tight. Mounts the O2 off as well. Or O2 for the EGR valve. We're not going to be using that. So I'll need a 15mm shallow socket and 3-inch drive.
Alright. It's pretty crusty, huh?
Working.
Yeah.
And it's really ready to come off there. We won't be running EGR, so all that'll go in scrap. I just want to leave EGR on here just so I know when I go to depin the harness, I know where it belongs. That wire was for. Okay, I got the one that's not coming off. I have to get the dipstick tube out next. It goes through the exhaust manifold. Wasn't tight either.
I guess you're locked out on that side.
Getting this side's been apart before. We'll be replacing this because these things never seem to come out. And they're cheap. Broke off.
Got it? Oh, someone's used never sees on that bolt.
Yeah, they've been apart.
Maybe that's why it came out better.
Okay. Well, it's got a different gasket on it too. So this one's been apart, the other one hasn't. The other one had the stacked metal, stacked stainless gasket.
Yep.
We're doing this because WD-40 stands for Water Displacement Formula 40. His 40th try before the inventor got it the way he wanted it. So I just want to coat the cylinders. A lot of that will just end up in the oil pan. Straight up. plugs back in. You're going to grab a blue towel, start tearing them up. We're going to plug these exhaust manifolds up.
Okay.
Now we need to get a Ziploc bag, a blue towel over this, and a Ziploc bag.
Okay.